Both the United States and Mexico punching their ticket to the next World Cup. And of course, as always, we like to remind you, you can listen to this show, Futbol Americas, in podcast form as well. There is the final World Cup qualifying table. Of course, the top three go automatically through to the World Cup in Qatar. Canada ends up with the top record in the region if we go off goal differential, then tied with Mexico on 28 points after Canada falls to Panama. Mexico beating El Salvador 2-0. The U.S. dropping a 2-0 decision away to Costa Rica, which leaves both those teams tied on 25 points and in third. But the U.S., no worries. They get the automatic ticket thanks to that cushion of goal differential. Meanwhile, Costa Rica headed to the Intercontinental playoff as they will fight for one of the last spots in the upcoming World Cup. All right, Herc, so the big headline here is the United States back in the World Cup after missing out in 2018. What does this mean for American soccer?
Well, everything for American soccer. Congratulations to the U.S. men's national team. No matter how you got there, got there. I know a lot of fans right now will be almost disgusted at how they got there.
No, come on. Disgusted is way too strong.
It is way too strong. I agree. I didn't say I felt that way. I said a lot of fans will feel that way because of how much promise this team can show you or what they can do. The kind of equity they built up heading into this game. I mean, you go into Estadio Azteca and you get a very good result, and many feel you should have taken more from that game. You should have taken 3 points. Then you wipe the floor with a Panama side that it was a do-or-die game for them. It was literally, if you want to go to the World Cup, you have to win this game. And you put 5 away from them. And then everybody, alternate squad against Costa Rica, and you see the lineup from Greg Berhalter, and you're like, he's playing with the big guys. He's playing with what he has at his disposal. This is great. You're going to get a 9-point window, and it's, I don't want to say performance, but it's this result. And the way they let the result go by. So a lot of people, a lot of fans will feel...
You're focused on the result, but I feel like bigger picture, we have to acknowledge here that American fandom at this point can take nothing for granted. I don't think anybody after missing 2018...
I'm with you, son.
Could take it for granted. I think if you look at what happened with Italy, a powerhouse like that can miss back-to-back tournaments. And then if you think about, and you've talked about this a lot, the impact of missing a World Cup. It's devastating no matter when it happens, right? It was devastating, you talked about, for potentially like the kids who missed out on watching 2018. Imagine what the impact of missing another World Cup leading into 2026 would have been. So I get what we can nitpick, but I think big picture we have to hail what this is.
Yeah.
This is a huge victory for American soccer just to qualify for the World Cup. I wonder if the other stated goal, not just of Greg Berhalter, but the American team during this qualification process was accomplished, in your opinion. That was to change the way the world feels about American soccer. I do believe that they've done that. It may not be the total turnaround,
no.
But I think they've changed that for sure.
Let me stop you. Christian Pulisic at Chelsea has changed that.
No. But Christian Pulisic was playing at a high level before the U.S. failed to qualify.
Let me finish.
I'm talking about the U.S. men's national team.
They've not, Seb, because
not American soccer.
No, with this golden generation, these players at Dortmund, at Barcelona, at Chelsea, at City, these players who are at Leipzig.
Do you remember where
Look where they're at. Third place, really quick. Third place, and I'm not saying it's a terrible thing because it's the World Cup. You're going to the World Cup, but you're saying changed the way people view American soccer. No, these players have changed that.
No, this team in this qualification process has changed not just how people, but how American fans feel about this team. Go back to 2017. Go back to after the failure of Cuba. Go back to after the failure of Cuba and tell me how things have changed since then. Even go back to the beginning of Greg Berhalter's era. Go back to...
The expectations have changed.
Go back to late 2019 even, right? Barely over 2 years ago when they lose to Canada. When they lose to Canada with Greg Berhalter in charge in the Nations League. I mean, if you can't appreciate from there how far this team has come, you're missing the plot. And it's not just results. It's a lot better looking.
Maybe I'm missing the plot because I look at what Canada has at their disposal, I look at what Mexico has at their disposal, what Costa Rica has at their disposal, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, the U.S. men's national team has all this at their disposal, and yet third place. And I know it's goal differential. I know it's all circumstantial, whatever you may want. But that's what fans may be thinking right now. Listen, that doesn't matter because the ultimate goal is to qualify. And I'm with you. There have been some very good teams that have managed to qualify, not in first place, and have done some very special things in the World Cup.
It's third place, but it's like a comfortable third place. We have to acknowledge.
Absolutely.
Going into this last window, we thought there was a real chance they'd go to Costa Rica with the World Cup potentially in jeopardy.
Of course.
It really wasn't in jeopardy, right? It would have taken something out of a fantasy book for the U.S. to fall to fourth. So that was never going to happen. Arriving to that game and avoiding that, to me, is pretty critical. You talk about how they qualified.
Right.
But in qualifying, how much does the how matter? Especially in CONCACAF.
It doesn't.
But that's what you're hanging your hat on.
No. I'm hanging my hat on you saying that people view American soccer differently because of the national team. No, that's not how they view American soccer differently. People feel good about this national team. Mm-hmm. They feel good about the prospect because these players of where they are playing at the club level. Not what they're doing with the national team. You may have had some good games against Mexico, but that doesn't mean you're a good team.
Yeah.
You know? That means you played well against one opponent. These players playing in Barcelona, Chelsea, Dortmund, Leipzig, et cetera, they change the view of American soccer.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and of course, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.